Let's go to the hotline, the fan hotline, and welcome in Trey Wingo. He's the host of the Straight Facts Homie podcast. He joins us right now. You know Trey Wingo. You love Trey Wingo, and he joins us right now on the fan hotline. Trey, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we?
We're doing very well. If you were the Browns, would you be buyers or sellers at this point? Now, I know that probably sounds like a dumb question. They are 2-6. However, Adam Schefter and others have said that the Browns are intending on looking for some young talent out there, guys who are in current uniforms that they can bring in.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to say those things. It's another thing to do them, right? I mean, Jerry Jones says all these wonderful things and then does the exact opposite all the time. I think Cleveland's in a very difficult situation. I would be shocked if they were actual buyers rather than sellers. But then again, what are they selling? They said they're not going to trade Myles Garrett. So what are they selling? And what are they trying to accomplish? Because that's been the thing in Cleveland forever. What are we trying to do? And we're not quite sure anybody knows what the plan is.
Well, that's the hard part for us, Trey, is we're sitting here saying, all right, we need a quarterback. We're going to go through at least four this season, and then who knows what's next. And I know, by the way, we're watching Joe Flacco carve up defenses week in and week out for Cincinnati on another bad team that didn't have a good offensive line, but yet he is looking like a top 5 quarterback all of a sudden. We thought he was washed. So we just don't have a lot of faith right now in the organization or the coaching staff.
You shouldn't. I mean, here's what I would say along those lines. I do think that Kevin Stefanski is a good coach. I do think he's probably going to get fired after the end of this season. You know, he's taken the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs twice. He's been a coach of the year twice. He's not a bad coach. I do think the organization is a house of cards, and I'm not sure. You know, what's the long-term answer here? I don't know the answer to that. The thing about Flacco is it's amazing how much better you will play when you have the chance to throw to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I still can't believe they traded him inside the division. Like I'm with Mike Tomlin on that. Like what was the plan there? Like why did you think that was a good idea? You know, I all summer long I said I think Joe Flacco should be your starting quarterback, but if you start losing, then you have to turn things over to see what you have in Dylan Gabriel. And eventually, the toxic turning point of every sports conversation, Shedeur Sanders. Because no matter what you say about Shedeur Sanders, someone's going to say you are bat bleep crazy for thinking that. So it is remarkable to me how much of a lightning rod this kid has become without ever taking a snap in the NFL.
Okay, I want to ask about Shedeur Sanders here in a bit. Lima's champing at the bit. Let me just get this in real quick before you and Lima set sail with Shedeur here.
Okay.
Is it a bad move if the Browns were to move on from Kevin Stefanski at the end of the year? Do you think that that's a mistake by the Browns?
No, I don't. And I think that's the nature of the beast. You know, I mean, you don't win, you don't keep your job. It's that simple. I don't think that Kevin Stefanski is the biggest reason for all the Browns' problems. I think there are much bigger issues at play in Cleveland.
Okay, because, like, you know, I don't want to call out names and things like that, but we've had some major media figures. I mean, guys who've played the game, but around the game a whole bunch, who have almost kind of used it as a threat towards Browns fans. Like, oh, yeah, you go ahead and you fire him and watch him go somewhere else. He'll get a job next year, and he'll win championships. And I like Kevin, man. I really do, Trey, but I think there's a lot of fans who are more than ready to test that theory. Yeah,
and I think that's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's a bottom line industry, right? Like, for example, it might be the end of the line for Mike Tomlin if they flame out again and don't make a playoff win this season. I'm also convinced that Mike Tomlin will absolutely get a job somewhere else. It might be the end of John Harbaugh in Baltimore if they flame out again this year. And I'm convinced that John Harbaugh will get hired tomorrow. So both things can be true, right? You can say, okay, you watch, Stefanski will get a job somewhere else and he'll be really good. And it also might be time for him to leave the current situation. Those things can both exist in the same sphere.
Trey Wingo, join us now on the hotline. So you mentioned Shedeur, and
I regret it already.
No. You know where this is going. So first of all, I do want to know, because I love the fact that you sometimes play almost media ombudsman with your old place. And what did you think when your old place was having daily debates about the fourth string quarterback of the Cleveland Browns?
It was embarrassing. They did it because they knew his name would resonate and his name would create some sort of rabid frothing at the mouth when it was based on nothing. When it was really based on nothing. There's nothing to suggest that A, he's going to be terrible, or B, he's going to be great. We don't have any data. So it's all just guesswork. It's all just opinions, and opinions are like noses and buttholes. Everybody has them.
And Trey Wingo joining us on the show. So what do you think is the truth about Shedeur, then?
I don't know, and anybody that says they know is lying. That's the bottom line.
Well, maybe they're just wrong. Could they just be wrong?
Yeah, well, right, but I mean, but if you, yes, they could be wrong. But if you say you know, based on what? What are you basing it on?
Gut feeling, to be honest with you. That's about as far as it is.
There it is. There is no empirical data to suggest that he's going to be great or that he's going to be terrible, right? Let's go, and people will say, well, he was the highest-rated college accuracy quarterback of all time. I went through the list. Do you want to go through the list of the most accurate college quarterbacks of all time?
Yeah, honestly, yes, please.
Okay, I got to find it, but it's for example, there's only of the top 20, there's only 2 guys that you would say, wow, for sure.
Are there like 2 Hawaiian quarterbacks on there?
Yeah, Colt Brennan, Colt Nose, Graham Harrell. I mean, there's a couple of guys I've never even heard of. Now, Joe Burrow is the 12th most accurate quarterback in college football history, and Baker Mayfield was the 15th. That's it. Out of the top 20, those are the only ones that were surefire successes or have been surefire successes in the NFL. Right. And, oh, by the way, Baker took a while to get there. And then people will also say, well, he won the John Unitas Award. Go look at the winners of the John Unitas Award. It's not exactly a list of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Now, I want to be clear to people who are now driving into a bridge abutment by listening to me say this in Cleveland, okay? You need to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting he's going to be terrible. I'm suggesting I don't know. And anybody that says they know is wrong or is purposefully being misleading because there is no information to back up your point.
Well, we've got some headlines from today already. Trey Wingo now.
He's not wrong. Okay, so it's real quick. It's Shedeur, Colt Brennan, Colt McCoy. They had a nice career. Kellen had a nice career as a backup. Kellen Moore, Graham Harrell, Grayson McCall, North Carolina State.
Sure.
Remember him?
Absolutely.
Will Rogers, Brandon Whedon, Case Keenum, Chase Holbrook. That's the top 10.
So you cannot look at me and say, well, he was the number one in this, and then say, well, that's why he's going to be successful. Because read those names again for everybody.
I can't just stop. and by the way, you might lose me for the rest because I'm reading all these names, and now it's just nostalgia all over the place.
It is.
I'm like, oh, man, Seth Doge, all the way down to Greg Ward. Oh, my gosh, goodbye.
One of the greatest. So the only thing I'm trying to get across to people here is you cannot use that as a data point to ensure his success. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to be successful. I need people to understand that. But when you say that and you say, the Unitas Award winner, it's not a surefire thing in any way, shape, or form. It's not. So nobody knows, okay? Nobody knows. There's no reason. There's nothing to suggest he's going to be great. There's nothing to suggest he's going to be terrible. We won't know until we play him. And then you got to figure it out. Now, why aren't they playing him? I believe, like is in most cases, when you draft someone higher, you give them more opportunities because you have more of an investment in that player. They have more of an investment in Dylan Gabriel because they took him in the 3rd round instead of the 5th round. Now, it's up for a lot of people to decide when that investment they think should be banked and turned to something else, and I think it's fair to have that discussion. But that a guy, people like, I actually heard people say they're not being fair to Shedeur. Like, what are you talking about? What does fair have to do with anything? They made an investment in somebody else, right? They made, when Kirk Cousins was taken in the 4th round in 2012 and RG3 was taken 2nd overall, did Kirk get a lot of first team reps? Absolutely not, because they had an investment, a bigger investment in the other player. Now, as it turns out, Kirk Cousins had a much better career than RG3. But that doesn't mean the then Redskins and now Commanders were wrong to invest all that time and effort in a guy that they had picked higher. It's the way it works. And the fact that people can't understand that is really beyond me.
All right. Trey Wingo is our guest. So you watched yesterday Kansas City and Buffalo. Who's the better quarterback right now, 2025? Is it Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes is always the answer to there. The problem, here's a really interesting thing. You know what the Chiefs' record is in one-score games this year? 0-4. 0-4. They were 17-0 in their previous one-score games. The longest record in the history of the NFL. What does that tell you? Things change pretty quickly. And you got to find a way to win games. For all the smoke and mirrors and the weird stuff that happened last year with Kansas City, they found ways to get it done. This year, they either steamroll you or they find a way to lose. And that has, I think, much less to do on the quarterback than it does with the way the team is presently constructed. They couldn't stop the run to save their lives yesterday. They absolutely got gashed. They got gashed by tight ends. Chris Jones is a non-factor, quite frankly, this year. I think he has 2 sacks. I think he had a tackle yesterday. Now, you're talking about a Buffalo team that was completely bereft of defensive players, and they stepped up and they won the line of scrimmage. And let me tell you something. Kansas City better find a way to dominate the line of scrimmage in their next game, because after the bye, they go to Denver. Denver leads the league in the most sacks and the fewest sacks allowed. That is whooping ass on the line of scrimmage. And that's something the Chiefs have not been able to do against a good team yet this season.
Trey Wingo joining us here on the show. So, is this year finally the Chiefs do they not make it to the AFC Championship game, or?
Oh, no, I'm convinced they'll be there. I mean, because you don't crown somebody in the first week of November, right? I think they'll find a way to figure it out. But I'll tell you this. You know, I said this on the Straight Facts Only pod. This 4-game stretch will define their season, because they had the Bills, which they always lose in the regular season, then they always win in the postseason. Then they go to Denver, then they've got Indianapolis, and then they've got Dallas. If they go 3-1 in that stretch, I think we'll be fine in Kansas City. They go 2-2, they go 1-3, then we got real problems. This is the most critical stretch of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs.
The dead cap hit would be paralyzing, but they're probably not going anywhere this year, and they're probably not going anywhere next year. Are the Browns making a mistake by not considering trading away Myles Garrett?
Yeah, organizationally, I can understand why you would, but to what you said, you've been in cap hell because of Deshaun Watson. Now you want to put yourself in cap hell again. And my issue with Myles is, and I think, listen, he's an unbelievable player. What changed from February? What changed? You said you wanted out in February. You said you didn't want to go, by the way, the greatest humble brag of all time. I don't want to go from Cleveland to Canton. That was, to put that in text, it's true, but, way to put it out there. And then they waved $40 million in his face, and he said, yeah, F it, I'll take the money. So I understand your frustration. I understand your passion, but you made your choice. Like, the organization didn't shift dramatically from when you said you wanted out to when you took the money. you took the money, right? So it's hard for me to sit here and watch you be so frustrated after a dominant performance against the Patriots, 5 sacks, the youngest player ever with the most sacks under the age of 30, passing Hall of Famer Reggie White. All of these things are great. You knew what you were doing. You took the money. So when I see your frustration, I understand it. And on one level, as a competitor, I get it. But this is what you signed up for. You've known who this team is and what their DNA is since they drafted you in 2017. So it's hard for me to feel a lot of sympathy there.
Yesterday, Jacksonville kicker, 68-yard field goal. What's happened to the sport I love? This is ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? Well, no. Hold on. No, see, this is weird. You're not even close to the issue with kickers. Did you see the Oklahoma kicker?
Oh, the shorts. The short shorts.
Thank you.
Yeah, that guy, that's ruining football. Cam Little kicking 168, that's awesome.
It would have been good for 70, too.
Yeah, it would have been. But the Oklahoma kicker should be banned for his short shorts.
They were absurd. They were ridiculous.
Wait. All right, so wouldn't the coach... Okay, who's it on? Is it on the officials because it's supposed to cover the kneecaps? Or is it on the coaches? Because people are going, that's on Venables. That's on him and his staff. Okay.
It's on everybody.
It's on it. We all wear it.
Come on, this is something we can all get behind, right? Whether you love Shedeur, whether you hate Shedeur, we can all get behind those shorts are ridiculous.
Why is it a thing now? Why is it a thing now?
I don't know.
Why is 6'7" a thing or was a thing? Thank God that's finally crusted. Who knows why any of this happens? None of it matters anyway.
Not with fifth graders, bud. It is an everyday thing that I have to deal with. Go ahead, Tony.
But the only thing I was going to say is, Trey, they doctor the footballs, or they're doing something different to the footballs than they used to do. Why can't we just kick a normal football? Do you think fans want to see, as opposed to going for it, you think they want to see coaches opting to go for those types of field goals?
I think the most automatic thing in football right now is Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey. He is a weapon unlike maybe anybody else except Cam Little. So I have no issue with it whatsoever. If he's the best at something, great, go for it. I don't think people. I really, maybe I'm wrong. Are a lot of people clamoring in Cleveland talking about kickers being too good? Is that what's happening there?
No.
There it is.
Thank you. Trey Wingo on the Fan Hotline. His podcast, Straight Facts Homie. Go ahead and listen to it. Pick it up wherever podcasts are available. Trey, thank you for the time.
Guys, anytime.
Trey Wingo on the Fan Hotline. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.